Well, this is obviously Ashokan Farewell, Jay Unger's tune that is just cemented in American history now, thanks to Ken Burns and the Civil War series. But the piece has a fascinating history. We're going to take a look. I'll talk about the lesson in just a minute. The Ashokan Center in upstate New York is the place where Jay and his wife ran music camps. And of course, the tune, which follows a lament kind of, it's sort of sad, was just something that he came up with as he was leaving camp one time, and I run a camp kind of like that, and I know the feeling. So the tune has a lot of, well, again, it sounds like it's really old, but I think part of it is because we heard it in the Civil War. But Jay had a really interesting history. He was a New York musician, Greenwich Village, played with David Bromberg and a few other, Greenwich people in the early 70s. And then put a band together in the early 80s, Fiddle Fever, that included 3 fiddlers and bass and guitar. Now, each of the fiddlers played other things, piano, viola, things like that. So they were kind of cutting edge. I've listened to a little bit of some of their stuff recently as part of getting into this song, and it's really neat. So the album of theirs, that the recording that showed up in the Civil War, was from their album called Waltz of the Wind, and the guitar player there was Russ Barenberg. Now Russ is a little very eclectic guitar player. Could play Django Reinhardt stuff and do some finger picking with his flat pick in his hand and stuff like that. So the lesson that we're going to do, the way I just played it right there, the first time through was really basic. I kept the accompaniment very simple. So and then the melody was very simple too. It was pretty much the fiddle part, but squared up without the fancy fiddle embellishments. We'll talk about that as a whole separate thing. So I played the melody there the first time through just very straight. Now, a real fiddler would never play that. You might hear more like this. Hammer-ons, pull-offs. And also, Jay plays a lot of what are called Scotch snaps in there, which are playing 2/8 notes. Now, we typically play this with a little bit of swing. But a common thing to do on the fiddle, and something he did to make it sound old, is played those 1/8 notes reversed, being really a 16th followed by a dotted 1/8. Let me think about that. Now, so I have a whole segment coming up that will talk about some of those variations, or embellishments if you want to add them in the guitar. But again, that first time through, I played it very straight, very square, keeping it very easy. And the accompaniment was very simple. The trickiest thing about the accompaniment is the D chord with F sharp in the bass. This is by far the best thing to do when you need D with F sharp in the bass, is wrap your thumb around it and get it down there. Now the second time through was more what Russ did as the rhythm guitar player in the second time through. And it has much more passing bass notes. Starts off the same. So the second time through, I had more of the what I really heard on the recording of the when the guitar comes in for the second verse. The third verse is the guitar solo that Russ played, and it starts off, and that's what I played through the second time through. Now it starts off fairly square like the other one, but then it has all this other fancy stuff in there. We have the well, you just heard it, right? We hear. But finally we get some embellishments. So you can kind of take this the easy way, the way I played it through the first time, or you can work on dressing it up like the second time through, where even the accompaniment was a little trickier. Again, passing bass notes. And anyway, so we're going to break all that down coming up over the next few segments, but we'll start with just the basic accompaniment and the basic fiddle melody. Then we'll talk about the more complicated guitar accompaniment and the guitar lead that happened later. I will probably get to, but not in this lesson, a solo guitar version of this, but I wanted to kind of get this one rolling first. So, coming up, Ashokan Farewell, the duet version.